White pawn marches to d4. Black knight marches to f6. White pawn marches to c4. Black pawn marches to g6. White knight marches to c3. Black bishop marches to g7. White pawn marches to e4. Black pawn marches to d6. White knight marches to f3. Black kingside castling. White pawn marches to h3. Black pawn marches to e5. White pawn marches to d5. Black pawn marches to a5. White bishop marches to e3. Black knight marches to a6. White pawn marches to g4. Black knight retreats to d7. White knight retreats to d2. Black knight marches to c5. White rook moves sideways to g1. Black king moves sideways to h8. White pawn marches to a3. Black bishop marches to d7. White queen marches to c2. Black pawn marches to c6. White queenside castling. Black pawn captures pawn at d5. White pawn captures pawn at d5. Black rook moves sideways to c8. White king moves sideways to b1. Black pawn marches to a4. White pawn marches to h4. Black pawn marches to f5. White pawn marches to h5. Black pawn marches to f4. White bishop captures knight at c5. Black knight captures bishop at c5. White pawn captures pawn at g6. Black pawn captures pawn at g6. White pawn marches to g5. Black rook marches to f7. White bishop marches to b5. Black king moves sideways to g8. White bishop captures bishop at d7. Black queen captures bishop at d7. White knight marches to c4. Black queen retreats to d8. White knight marches to b5. Black bishop retreats to f8. White rook moves sideways to h1. Black queen marches to d7. White knight retreats to c3. Black rook marches to c7. White knight marches to b6. Black queen retreats to e8. White pawn marches to f3. Black knight marches to b3. White knight captures pawn at a4. Black knight retreats to d4. White queen moves sideways to h2. Black rook moves sideways to h7. White queen moves sideways to f2. Black pawn marches to b5. White rook captures rook at h7. Black rook captures rook at h7. White knight marches to b6. Black queen moves sideways to d8. White knight captures pawn at b5. Black knight captures knight at b5. White knight retreats to c4. Black knight marches to d4. White queen moves sideways to g2. Black rook moves sideways to c7. White rook moves sideways to c1. Black queen moves sideways to c8. White queen retreats to f1. Black knight marches to b3. White rook marches to c3. Black knight retreats to d4. White king marches to a2. Black queen marches to a6. White queen marches to d3. Black queen retreats to a7. White knight retreats to d2. Black bishop marches to e7. White rook captures rook at c7. Black queen captures rook at c7. White knight marches to b3. Black queen marches to c2. White queen captures queen at c2. Black knight captures queen at c2. White knight marches to a5. Black bishop captures pawn at g5. White knight marches to c6. Black king marches to f7. White pawn marches to a4. Black bishop marches to h4. White pawn marches to a5. Black bishop marches to f2. White pawn marches to b4. Black king retreats to e8. White pawn marches to b5. Black king marches to d7. White pawn marches to b6. Black king retreats to c8. White king marches to b3. Black knight retreats to d4 and gives check. White king escapes check at c4. Black king marches to b7. White knight marches to d8 and gives check. Black king escapes check at a6. White pawn marches to b7. Black king retreats to a7. White pawn marches to a6. Black pawn marches to g5. White knight retreats to f7. Black bishop retreats to h4. White knight captures pawn at d6. Black pawn marches to g4. White knight marches to c8 and gives check. Black king escapes check at b8. White knight retreats to b6. Black resigns and white wins the game.